Well, I'm at Oranmore today with Alan Massie, who is the author of this week's play, Changing Lines. He's a real man of letters. He's a political journalist, a novelist, has been rugby correspondent of the Scotsman, and of course, a playwright. Alan, it's very nice to have you here.
Very nice to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about your play first.
Well, the origins of this play are quite simple, but perhaps a little unusual. The playwright Simon Gray is an old friend of mine, and when he, as you know, he died of cancer. Well, he died a couple of years ago. It wasn't actually his cancer that killed him, but a few months before he died, he had a scan, and he emailed me to say all was well. And the next day he emailed me saying, now we're going to find something to write about. Any ideas? So I said, well, there's a story in one of your volumes of diaries about having to sack a young actor from a new production of Butley. Let's make a play, Simon. And then I got an email back the next day saying, you write it. So after he died, I thought, well, yes, partly because it does strike me as a good subject for a play, and I suppose partly as a tribute or in memory of Simon.
You write for all kinds of different media. What is it particularly that attracts you to the theatre?
Well, I wish I'd written more plays, as the first thing. I mean, I've always loved the theatre. I don't get to it very often now because I live down in the Borders, but I was brought up going to theatre regularly. And as for writing for it, well, I've always liked writing dialogue, and I think in my novels, my dialogue is one of the better features, usually. Indeed, it was after I published one novel that Clive Perry at the Lochries said, I like the dialogue, and this would you write a play for me. And the other thing, of course, which is a delight about doing things in the theatre occasionally, is directly working with other people. I mean, I spend most of my time sitting in my study, can't even look out at the window, which is a Virginia creeper all over the window, alone for most of the day, and it's a treat. Though.
The Virginia creeper is to prevent you
daydreaming
out
the Virginia creeper is there because I'm too lazy to cut it away. But it's a treat to work with other people and for a change, and you've been very lucky with this play because Liz Carruthers, the director, has been absolutely ideal, and I don't think we've had a single disagreement. And she's cast it very well with Michael Mackenzie and Andy Gray and young Daniel Boyd, who all seem to me to be absolutely right. They are. They're actually all just as I imagined, when I was writing it, how the characters would look and sound. Yeah. And that, I think, is probably quite unusual, isn't it?
I think it's a happy meeting of minds.
Well, yes, yes.
At the same time as writing this play, you've also managed to publish Klaus, a novella, and other stories, which you're going to speak about tonight at the Goethe Institute.
Well, that's right. And this has been actually a very odd year, in that I've actually published 3 books, which is quite unusual for me. But it's not really a mark of extraordinary industry. One of them was held back for a book about the Stuarts, which Kate published, and someone was held back for a year because they decided, because of the very punch, they published fewer books. So it's been waiting. Another one, a sort of crime novel set in Bordeaux in 1940, went hunting around for a publisher for quite a long time before it found one. And so really the only completely new one, something finished within the last few months, is this novella about Klaus Mann.
And you're still fitting journalism in amongst us.
I can't afford not to. I mean, I write columns, and I regularly for the Scotsman and the Scottish edition of the Daily Mail, and occasionally for other newspapers, and rugby columns for the Scotsman.
You're still doing
I'm still doing it. It's usually rugby, sometimes other sports, but every Saturday it's a sort of self-indulgent thing. In fact, I regard it as a sort of treat to be allowed to write about rugby. I don't regard that really as work in the same way. And I write an occasional sort of literary column for the Spectator too.
Excuse me turning off my mobile phone. you can see that this really is a live interview. It would be easy for you, perhaps not financially, but it would certainly be easy for you in terms of a life's oeuvre to sit back and relax, but it seems to me that you're as or more productive than ever.
Well, probably, as you say, financially it would be impossible. I couldn't afford to retire. When I was younger, I had this sort of optimistic view that somehow the royalties and books would keep you in old age, and it's not true. I suppose if you wrote a really successful play, it might keep you in old age. I'm sure that Look Back in Anger contributed to John Osborne's lifestyle for half a century or so. But anyway, I don't know. I sometimes say, gosh, I'd like to retire. My wife says, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. I say, I could do nothing quite easily, and she said, no, you couldn't. And so, anyway, I enjoy work.
Well, I have to say that coming to see Changing Lives will not provide Alan Massie with a pension to retire on, but I would urge you to come anyway because it's a very fine piece of work and I think you'll enjoy it enormously. Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you, David.